Well, hello YouTube, it's me Fortmaster, and welcome to my official 5,000 subscriber Q&A celebration video. So if you didn't know, when I first hit 5K, in my celebration video, I put out, a call for questions to be either put on that video or in my Discord server. Now, the original closing date was originally the 31st, but eventually, questions slowed down. And if this video is coming out, which I assume it's going to be coming out on the 10th, that means that, submissions are officially closed. But yeah, I'm recording this after the fact, after I've already answered them. I had a lot of fun answering your questions. So let's get the past me to begin answering the questions. Okay, here we go. We're going to start off the 5K milestone Q&A questions with the questions that were asked on my Discord server. So first off, Smoke Martian asks, who inspired you to make YouTube videos? And honestly, I'd have to say Markiplier. I mean, I've been a huge fan of Markiplier for a long time. Like, been subscribed to him since he first started, playing FNAF. But I was kind of an on and off enjoyer before that. Like, I have vague recollections of when he played Amnesia. But I didn't subscribe back then, so I don't really count that. But yeah, anybody who's, followed my channel for long enough, that for several years, this was just purely a gaming channel. Like, for a long time, daily uploads even. And even then, the videos weren't that good. Like, editing, even now, editing is my strong suit, but even less so then. Like, oh god, I'm completely forgetting now, when did I first upload my first video? To my analytics page! So my first gaming video I ever actually uploaded was back in 2016. Yeah, I mean, even now to this day, 25 views. Yeah, not that good, not that good. Like, I didn't even bother making, thumbnails. I mean, come on. I wanted it to be like Markiplier, and I didn't even bother making a thumbnail, jeez. I mean, granted, it does kind of come with the territory, because back then, when I first started, I only played on I had a laptop, that's all I had. What little editing I did do in my videos was done in Windows Movie Maker, because that's just what was on the computer. And I didn't have, Photoshop or anything, and I didn't discover things like GIMP until years later. So that was just what I did. I uploaded videos before I went to school, and then I recorded and edited after I came back. And, I mean, initially, if things had gone the way I had planned, I mean, I'd hoped that I'd get big enough that, I'd be able to, count it as a job. I'd be able to do things like charity live streams and sell merch and, all that good stuff. I mean, I hope that one day I can, still actually end up being like that, but YouTube's changed a lot since, the heyday of the gamer. So you can't just upload, 100-episode series of the same game anymore and have that count. People expect more nowadays. I mean, I've said it to myself before, but I still kick myself for not starting doing reactions sooner. I honestly, because fun fact, when I hit 5K, YouTube has a thing where you can see your live, a sub count and a graph showing your sub growth. If I go just to the the lifetime of my channel here, you can see, if I started uploading in 2016, and it's this very slow, methodical growth. And, yeah, I forget, when did I actually start doing reactions? My first ever reaction was when I watched a couple of Markiplier things, but my first thing I started, watching religiously were game theory videos, and that was back in September of 2022, and if we go back to the graph, we go to around September 2022, and we can see that the line starts picking up speed rather quickly, and then, I don't know what I did, but then December of last year, there's another spike, and it's been going even quicker then, so I hope that hopefully means that YouTube likes me. But yeah, just, biggest inspiration for making videos, I want it to be like Markiplier. He seems like a nice guy. There are a lot worse YouTubers out there than Markiplier. Nat Tanneral asks, favorite and least favorite FNAF game? Also, opinion on FNAF World, underrated game. So, favorite? I mean, honestly, I don't know if I'd be able to really pick an outright favorite. Because, honestly, I've said before, I've never actually played any of them. Like, the only FNAF game that do I still own it? Let me double check. Yeah, I do own it. The only FNAF game I actually own is FNAF Security Breach, because I was planning on playing that as a series on the channel. But the thing is, if you remember, the game was so buggy and unoptimized at launch that when I tried recording, I was lucky if I hit double digits for like a second. Otherwise, I was hitting the single digits, and it was just horrible. And I haven't actually touched the game since. Other than that, but okay, let me actually think, just from a lore perspective. I mean, least favorite, I'm gonna have to go with probably Sister Location, but that's still a pretty high bar. Mainly because, like, it was the first game in FNAF where it broke away from the cycle, like, while keeping the same theme. I mean, FNAF World was obviously very different, but it's the first one that, like, it was very linear. It's like, there's really no replay value to it. Absolute favorite? Honestly, okay, even with it's sort of history, I'd have to go back to, you know, Security Breach. Purely just because I love the thought of the sentient animatronics. That really does tickle me. That I like that thought. And FNAF World, again, FNAF World is one of those games, like, I actually did buy FNAF World when you could buy it on Steam. It wasn't until shortly afterwards that, you know, the whole everything with it kind of blew up, with it sort of being unfinished, and Scott took it off Steam, and then he asked people to refund it, which I ended up doing, and then I felt really bad for doing that, because it's a whole kerfuffle. I mean, honestly, I'm sad we might never see another game like FNAF World, because I like the idea of a FNAF RPG. Well, I love the art style, and I especially love, like, the stuff they added in future updates, like the Halloween update and stuff like that, with, like, its comedy. I was never really able to get into it, even though I have played it, because it's the gameplay where it's kind of like where everything's just happening in real time. I'm very much of a turn-based, you know, RPG sort of guy. I like the time. I like having time to actually, like, think and try to plan things out. But honestly, I'd love for there to be, like, another FNAF World and just see how that, like, throws the lore in absolute chaos once again. Next question by Mal Havoc. What's your favorite game you've played since starting the channel? Favorite game? Honestly, I mean, that's a really hard question because I've obviously played so many games on the channel. Oh. You know, I just remembered. Let me just see if I'm remembering the name right. Oh, God, yeah, King's Quest. Okay, yeah, so this is one of those, I have to say, like, a couple here, but I'm adding this to the list. Back in 2018, I played a game called King's Quest. It was sort of like a spiritual successor, sequel to a really old series of Sierra point-and-click adventure games, and I absolutely loved it. It was so funny, and honestly, the ending was so heartbreaking. I mean, granted, it's a really old series, so obviously it will show its age, but if you want to check it out, it's still on my channel. You can watch it yourself. Other than that, it's not a single game, but I very much loved when I played the Paradox 4X strategy games with Kothatmiu, where it was Crusader Kings 2, Europa Universalis 4, Victoria 2, Hearts of Iron 4, and then we tried doing it into Stellaris before that failed. But I just loved that whole basically series of alternate history that we made just in that really cursed planet Earth. It was like, oh, so funny. But yeah, honestly, like, I mean, I only really play games that I like on the channel. I don't usually go out of my way to, like, play games that I wouldn't enjoy. So it's kind of hard to just point towards a single one as my absolute favorite. Stan Alexandru G asks, what's your favorite channel you've reacted to? Okay, honestly, I mean, if we're just talking like pure sentimentality here, probably, again, Markiplier. Literally, the first thing I ever reacted to were his things, like the Wharf Stash animatronic and In Space with Markiplier, you know, just absolute fun there. But, like, not in a second place, but as, like, a close alternative, Andrew Cunningham. One, just because all of his Deltarune theories are absolutely great, and they're what got me back into the Deltarune community. And also, like, just because, like, I mean, I loved his videos, and also, as like a side note, his videos were the first reactions I made that broke like 1,000 views. And if I go back, Actually, how many views does that first one have? It's over 20,000 or something, I think. There we go. Yeah, the Gaster motif and Deltarune soundtrack video. That's almost 22,000 views. And honestly, I had a mini panic attack when I saw that video doing so well. And even with that being said, I'm fairly certain it blew up so well because it was shared in his Discord server. But honestly, like, that one video, it's kind of what propelled me into the ultra niche of Deltarune Theory reaction channel, which even today, I'm still shocked is a thing that could have happened. Babadook Spook asks, what's your favorite video that you've made? I'd have to say my 6th theory video, the one that's called, like, putting my Deltarune theories out there before chapters 3 and 4 come out. Yeah, because I really liked how that turned out. And honestly, I do want to make another video like that someday. And I have started coming up with new theories after, watching more videos. So I don't know if it'll be, another 6 theories, or if it'll be less theories, or just a single theory if and when I make another one of those videos. But honestly, I like it not because it's like, the best editing I've ever done, but I had fun making it because it was something different, honestly. Ali, aka the We Are Deltarune guy, asks, are you Mike? Are you? No, sorry, I'm not. Next, Kawaii Cat asks, what got you into FNAF and Deltarune respectively? So with FNAF, I mean, again, very boring answer. Game theory and Markiplier. I saw Markiplier play the game, really liked him, playing it, and then Game Theory started making videos about it, about the lore, trying to figure it out, and since then it was basically just, putting the frog in a pot of boiling water. At this point, the weirdness of the FNAF lore doesn't really affect me anymore because I've just been kind of neck deep in it since its basically beginning. Now, Undertale, I actually was shown by one of my classmates in college, because, like, during a break, we were sitting in class eating lunch, and one of the other guys he was, like, pulling people, he was calling people over and having them look at, the game trailer, and he was on the Steam page, and we were watching, the Undertale trailer, and, it was so fun looking, like, the whole thing with 3D Toriel smashing into the blocks. But really what caught my attention was the whole thing about, the only RPG where you don't have to kill anything. And that intrigued me. And then shortly afterwards, I started seeing, a lot of people starting to make Let's Plays of it. And I remember the one I watched first was by the Game Grumps. So I watched a little bit of that, and then eventually it got to the point where they said, hey, this game is really good, and to avoid, spoiling yourself on it, like, go out, buy the game, play it yourself, and then come back and watch our Let's Play. And I ended up playing the game and really liking it, but I didn't play, I played it blind for the most part, not 100% though, because again, I knew that little bit at the beginning of the game, and then when I got to Toriel, I ended up killing her the first time. I felt really bad for doing it, and then I looked up how you beat her peacefully. But after that, it was basically, completely blind, and, it's honestly so much fun. And then with Deltarune, it was basically just, hey, did you hear Toby Fox is making a new game? And then, that happened. But with chapters 1 and 2, I kind of fell off the community very quickly. Again, as I said, it wasn't until I watched Andrew Cunningham's video talking about, the Gaster motifs that I really got back into the community. Okay, next, we have Lunar Cherry asking, what's your favorite FNAF theory, Undertale theory, and Deltarune theory? With FNAF, it's hard because the theorizing landscape has changed constantly over, basically the entirety of FNAF's, existence. So I can't really think of a singular theory from FNAF that I'd call my favorite. Undertale? I've always liked the theory that Chara is the narrator. I like that theory, even if there isn't that much, weight behind it. I've always liked the theory. Deltarune theory? I gotta go with, friend inside me. That's Pete VB's my boy. I love him. God, that was really awkward to say. I'm sorry. Setting Sun asks, what is your favorite pizza toppings combo? Honestly, like, okay, so I got two answers for this one. If we're talking about, like, pizzas I can still get, one of my favorites is actually from Domino's. One of their, like, pre-designed, like, I think it's their feast pizzas, I think they're called, is called the barbecue chicken bacon pizza. And it's, like, and it has, like, barbecue sauce as the sauce instead of, you know, tomato sauce, as, like, the chicken, bacon, and then, you know, it has, like, the onions and green peppers on it, which I usually replace, but that's usually on a case-by-case basis, just for what I'm feeling like at the time. Now, if we're talking about pizzas I can't get anymore, ooh. Now, if you've never heard of it, up here in Canada, we have a restaurant chain called Boston Pizza, and they used to sell a type of pizza called the spicy steak and potato. And oh god, it was my absolute favorite. It was like, again, regular tomato sauce, but it had like thinly sliced steak, thinly sliced potato on it. It had like onion rings on it. It was drizzled with like a spicy mayo. Oh, it was so beautiful. And you know what makes it worse is that they got rid of it, and I can find virtually nothing about it online. Like, I found like one like food blog post talking about and reviewing it, and I found somebody who shared a picture of it on Twitter like years ago. Like, honestly, like, I miss that pizza so much. I haven't been able to find anybody that actually knows like the recipe for anything of it online. And again, the fact that like I can find virtually nothing about it online, but it infuriates me so much that something like this and something that was so tasty was basically forgotten. Ah! Oh god, honestly, if I had one wish, honestly, I'd wish that Boston Pizza brought that pizza back and put it back on the permanent menu. Like, oh, I miss it so. For when it was on there, that was my go-to whenever we go to Boston Pizza. Like, I'd order the large, medium or large, depending. I'd basically eat half of it for the meal, and then we'd take the other half home, and that would be my breakfast for the next day. Next up, Jimothy asks, who is your favorite character in Smash Bros. Ultimate? Yeah, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I don't play Smash Bros. I think I played it on the 3DS, and that was pretty much it. And pretty much the few times I did play it, it was like I played Rob, because that's basically who I played as when the few times I played Smash Bros on the Wii, like Super Smash Bros. So yeah, I'm sorry, that's as good of an answer as I can give. Next up, Graf Copperfield asks, are you coming back to streaming or not? I'm going to be completely honest here, purely because I've been, you know, lazy. Originally, because for some reason I decided I was going to do streaming on Saturdays, you know, the days I have scout meetings. But I stopped doing it because it was starting to get complicated. And then afterwards, I mean, I've wanted to do it, I just, again, been lazy. But honestly, it's been mostly just because, one, I've been lazy, and two, I just don't know what I want to play. Honestly, that'd probably be something I put up a poll on my Discord server for. I might have to do that in the future. Clown Little Puff Shroom asks, what is your favorite snack? Ooh, favorite snack? I mean, you look at me, I've been known to make a snack out of anything if I'm hungry, but if I'm just, like, grabbing something that we already have, Sun Chips. Like, just regular, like, cheesy Sun Chips. They're perfect. If I'm, like, going out somewhere, if they have them, up here in Canada, we have there's this small chain of, like, called Tiny Tom's Donuts, and they make, like, basically, like, little tiny donuts only this big, and you can get them in, like, a bunch of different flavors, but whenever we get them, it's always just classic, like, cinnamon sugar. Like, you put them in the bag, they take a scoop of the cinnamon sugar, sprinkle it into the bag, close the bag, and shake it. And then you just get it. And the best part is because they make them fresh in front of you. Most of the time when we get them, and they have like mobile trucks in a couple of physical locations, but 90% of the time whenever we've gotten them, it's because we've gone to the Canadian exhibition, because they have like a permanent stand there. And when they make them, they have like the machine that basically squirts out little like dollops into like the donut shapes, into like basically a flowing trough of oil that automatically cooks them and flips them over, and then they're just spit out into a bin. And then when you order them, they scoop them out of the bin, put them in, and then put whatever flavoring you want on them. And honestly, again, they're so perfect. Like, honestly, they had them set up at Toronto Rib Fest when I went last week, and I was so full from eating ribs. I'm so angry with myself I didn't buy a bag. And last but not least, for the Discord questions from Gudomat, when did you find Undertale and did you play it blind? Either way, what was your reaction to seeing the ending of Asriel's fight on a first time? So I already partially answered that before. Reaction to Asriel's fight. Oh god, thinking back, I was probably like equal parts like shocked and underwhelmed slightly. But underwhelmed this slightly because like compared to the Omega Flowey fight, or at the time, Photoshop Flowey fight, it played out more just like a normal battle, more or less, as opposed to like the Omega Flowey fight where, just basically all the previous rules are gone. But shocked because, I mean, never expected, the fact for Flowey to literally steal every monster soul in the underground, and also to, regain his form as Asriel, and then seeing Asriel grown up, and then Asriel turning into hyper, the death god forms. Okay, yeah, so after saying all that, probably to put it more concisely, underwhelmed at first, mixed with shock, but then becoming more into it as the fight went on, honestly. When you have to go into Asriel's soul and, like, reconnect with all your friends and stuff like that. Oh, God, it honestly brings back so many memories. But yeah, so that is it for the Discord questions. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have time to do the YouTube questions today, so I'm going to probably record those tomorrow, but for you, it's going to be in one video, so that's going to be starting now! And now on to all of the questions that were left on the 5K celebration video. Okay, so let's get into this then. Ali Nave asks, are you going to make more theories like the ones you did for chapters 3 and 4, about Deltarune? And I think I am. Originally, I'd been kind of holding off because I need to actually, come up with theories. But in the last couple of days at the very least, I have started to come up with things. So when I've thought them out some more, then I may make another theory video again. Because honestly, I did like doing the first one. Next up, we have Lucas N. Calaverjo Artist asks, considering your huge catalog of videos and topics, what are the elements that most intrigue and resonate with you when it comes to storytelling in terms of gaming? I mean, yeah, call me a bit basic, but I'm always one for a good romance plot. Like, honestly, it's like, you go, like, whenever I play the Mass Effect series, like, I always go with Tali. She's my love interest that I always go with. Another one that would intrigue me is one that I've seen. It's one that I haven't seen very often, but I would love to see more. Let's say you have an RPG like, you say, Fallout, or something of that flavor, and you have, the multiple factions that you can join or stuff like that. Usually whenever you interact with the factions, their, like, personality and who and what they are is rather static, and it's basically you join whichever one that you like the most. What I'd love to see more in games is, like, the ability to actually shape, like, factions. Like, I can't, like, I'm not talking about, like, completely rewriting who they are, but, like, being able to, like, being able to see, like, oh, this faction is arguably the better of, like, the ones that I have access to, but there's still some really weird or iffy things that I don't quite like, so if I join them, maybe I could, like, change or, like, help them basically course correct, basically. Really, that's all I can really think of, because, like, I mean, I've said it before, but, like, when it comes to, like, watching movies or playing games, I'm actually really easy to please. Like, I'm one of those people that, like, I don't realize a movie I've watched is bad unless I sit down for a while and actually, like, think through it. Like, it doesn't, like, the badness doesn't come to me immediately unless it's really bad. it's part of the reason I watch things like movie reviews and stuff like that, and most often the times from more than one person, because like they talk about things in the movie and like topics and like how it's made that I just don't think of when I'm watching it. Granted, I mean, there's been a lot of times where like I've watched reviews for, you know, bad movies and I still like the movie. It's not like I'll watch the review and suddenly think, oh, this movie is bad, I've hated it all along, or something like that. But it's just like, I don't have that. Being analytical and like thinking through things is a process for me. Next up, we have Tiller Nudes Jiforism asks, what is your favorite anime or manga if you read manga? Manga? I've never been that much of a... I've never really read that much manga. Like, honestly, the few times I've read manga is, like, it's only because, like, I've been watching an anime that's adapted from it, and the season 1 is over, and it ends on a cliffhanger, and then it inevitably never gets to season 2, so you have to read the manga to, like, complete it, and even then, it's usually just been whatever I can find online. Anime, though? Favorite anime is Space Battleship Yamato. I remember in high school, my dad told me about the original show in the... I forget if it was released in the 70s or 80s, but it was a show that he watched. And I found it because at the time, somebody had uploaded like all the episodes of the original series on YouTube, and I just watched the original season 1 just for free, and I fell in love with it there. And then in 2012, if I remember correctly, they released the remake, which was Space Battleship Yamato 2199, which is even better than the original. And I've kind of been semi-keeping up with like the sequels to that remake as well, but I mean, like, honestly, I've always been, you know, when it comes to aesthetics of vehicles or stuff like that, I love World War II, like, ships and tanks, you know, that sort of stuff. So, I mean, having a literal World War II battleship flying through space, shooting Christmas-colored lasers at each other, I mean, that's perfect. I love that. I don't care if it's stupid. Next question is from Emperor Nard 1418. I was wondering if you considered expanding your formats with not only gameplay and reactions, but with ones where you just talk about your favorite games, movies. This way we can know more about you. I think I could do something like that, but if I were to do something like that, it wouldn't be on this channel. At least I don't think it would be. Mainly because, like, from what I know of YouTube, YouTube doesn't like you having multiple different types of things uploaded on the same channel. Like, I mean, I'm kind of pushing the line here by, you know, having the reactions and my Let's Plays both on the same channel, because the Let's Plays do much worse than my reaction videos. If I were to do something like that, I'd probably have just a dedicated channel for it. Though, I mean, you never know. A video like that every once in a while might do. I don't know. Honestly, it's not something I've ever really thought about. But that might be something to look into in the future. Who knows? And here we have another question from Tiller Nudes Jiforism, which, similar to the previous question, what's your favorite game that you played or game series? Really, I don't really have individual favorite games. I have more like favorite games in genres. Like, if you're talking about like RPG or first person, I'd have to, honestly, it would really depend on how I'm feeling, but I'd kind of like Fallout New Vegas or Mass Effect 2. Those would be, those two are like vying for like first place there, and I'd have to play both of them back to back to really figure out which one would be in first. Otherwise, I also love like a lot of 4X games. Right now I've gotten back into playing Victoria 3, and I'm playing a Super Canada game that I may not have been playing completely legitimately, but it's not a serious Let's Play or anything, so I'm just having fun. Other than that, I mean, I like a lot of games. Really, the only games I really don't play are like beat-em-ups and like visual novels, really. Those are the only two I really don't play, and even then I've played more visual novels than I have like beat-em-ups and stuff like that. Though, of course, I always do have a soft spot for anything with a train heavily featured in it. Okay, and here we have underTraveler, and they actually have a couple of questions. So, first off, what game would you want to play for the first time again if you could? Ooh, first time again. Oh. Okay, honestly, thinking about it, I'd probably have to say, and I know this is going to be a weird one, but it would have to be one of the Sam & Max point-and-click adventure games. If I remember correctly, I think it would have to be maybe the very first one, just to like wipe all the memories. But like it was Sam & Max 101 Culture Shock. It's a point-and-click adventure game, and it's funny, if I'll just go to my Steam right now, and you look on here, it says I have no recorded activity, even though I have playtime, and that's because when I first played these, I bought these all the way back in like 2015, and I bought them because, well, I mean, I wanted to have my computer, you know, up at our trailer where we didn't have internet access, so I basically just, like, I bought the games, like, pre-installed them all into my laptop, and just spent a good month playing them, and I swear, these games, like, I haven't played them since. Like, so if I were to play them again, I think I'd still have trouble with the puzzles because of not remembering things, but I still remember so many of the jokes. And I'd want to replay them, like, for the first time again, just so I could relive just the comedy of them. They are so funny. Their next question is, what was your favorite reaction you did on the channel? I think I answered this question yesterday when I went over Discord, but I think my answer I said was Andrew Cunningham's Gastromotif video for Deltarune, because that was the first video that kind of got me back into the Deltarune fandom, and it was also the first reaction that I did that crossed over 1,000 views, and at this point almost has 22,000. So it was a fun video to watch, really informative, and it did really well. So it was wins all around, really. And then their third question is, you know, about streaming, which I answered in the Discord section. MegaMan9393 asks, do you ever wish your Let's Play videos took off the way your reactions have? I know how it can feel intending one thing to happen and having another happen. Yeah, as I said, I pointed out in my Discord questions yesterday that, again, as I said, I played for literal years, this being just a pure Let's Play channel, and with daily uploads, though, again, as I've said, editing was never one of my favorite things to do, so the videos were never really edited that much. It was more just, oh, you know, stuff happens in the game and chop out the dead space in between. So, and, like, again, as I've said, my want when I started uploading was to eventually, like, be in a similar position of Markiplier. Be, you know, because, you know, he's my, well, not was, but he is my favorite YouTuber. Now, am I upset that the reactions that took off? No. I mean, the whole reason I started doing them was so that my channel could start getting some traction, and it was something different to do. But the whole thing with my relationship with, like, gaming videos and reaction videos is very strained, not strained, but it's strange. Again, going back to the whole editing issue, and I made sure to take some screenshots just to kind of point it out. So I don't know what it is about how I edit. Maybe I don't know, do I have too many layers in my reaction videos or something? I don't know, because like because whenever I edit a gameplay video, like if I pull up the screenshot here for the gameplay editing, this was from my Supermarket Simulator video, and the video itself is just over 40 minutes long, like almost 45, and yet for rendering, it only took about 28 minutes to render. Now the thing is, it took me a lot longer than that to actually edit the video together, because again, I was chopping out all the spaces where nothing was happening or I wasn't saying anything, because I was just scanning groceries. But at the same time, you have my reactions. This was from my reaction to the Moon Woke Up episode 5. The video itself is just under 18 minutes, yet the rendering took almost half an hour. Now, that doesn't seem so bad, but it gets exponential the longer the base video is, up to the point that if the video is close to around an hour long, the rendering takes about 2 hours to do. And like right here, we have the one where I was doing reaction to game theories, everything you know about FNAF is a lie. The video itself came out to about 48 minutes, but the rendering took an hour and a half. And the thing is, I don't know whether well, I mean, it's probably because Sony Vegas is Sony Vegas, but it's also because the old war rig is starting to show her age, and if I don't have like if I don't like close down as many tabs as possible on my computer, there's a good chance that the rendering will crash about like 75% of the way in. But the thing is, I need to have a video on my computer playing, otherwise my computer will go to sleep and then mess up the render that way. So I mean, as I've said before, rendering is my least favorite part of the whole deal. Honestly, if I had the money, first thing I'd be doing would be getting a new computer to help me out there. But also, if I had the money, I'd hire an editor just to get that weight off my shoulders. Next up, we have Albert Buchanan 1199, who asks, which railroad museums have you been to, and if so, which ones are your favorite? So yeah, if you didn't know, I'm a huge foamer, which means I like trains, specifically steam trains, but it's with a heavy heart that I say I've never really been to any railroad museums, mainly because, when I was growing up, family never really had that much, spare money. We never like went hungry. We had a warm house, all the good stuff, but we didn't have that much spare cash laying around, so we didn't really go places that often. Honestly, the closest I've been to was the Toronto Railroad Museum downtown, and even then, it's just because I've been outside, because one of the few times we've gone there, downtown for something like that was because we were going to the Ripley's Aquarium, and I got to stand outside and look at my one and true love, 6213. But honestly, it's one of those things, and honestly, I could afford the ticket. It's more just finding the time. Like, honestly, that Expo Rail, and I mean, I'd say that there are, a number of railway museums I'd want to go to in the States, but with the way things are going in the States right now, yeah, I don't know. Next question is by Video Silhue 5657. What is the best reaction you did, in a way of the one that you enjoyed more, or its theory maybe, the theory you liked or thought it's, like, true more? I swear, honestly, some of you, you need to invest in spell check or something. But best reaction I've done? Thinking about it, I know that for, you should always be trying to improve, and I try to do whenever I think of something, but I'm very much a person that when I get stuck in my ways, I get stuck in my ways. So when I edit a reaction, it's very much almost, assembly line almost, where I have the editing file, I have things put out, I have the templates you apply to, like, the various video clips to make them fit in the proper way. And then it's basically just, like, when you put it in, make sure the audio is lined up, cut out awkward silences and, like, line flubs that I, like, re-speak again. I wouldn't be able to think of a single reaction that I've thought was my best, because truly, they all kind of melted together. And last, for the YouTube portion of this video, Forbidden to Forget asks, are there any other creative interests you have outside of YouTube, and are you invested in any communities or franchises that haven't featured on your channel? Okay, so the multi-part question, we'll do each part. So first part, anything outside of reactions or Let's Plays? Honestly, I've been kind of thinking about it for a while. I just wouldn't know where to start, but I've been thinking of creating a separate channel where it would be just about, like, train things, like train history, locomotive history. I had this idea for a series where where I would take, like, steam locomotives from, like, various different franchises and shows or what have you, bring them in, point out what's wrong with them, and try to, like, redesign them to be, workable or, like, more more realistic. But again, something like that, it's been on the back burner for a while. I have no idea where to start with it. Second thing, any creative interests outside of YouTube? Creative interests? Not really, actually. Like, I remember when I was a little kid, I used to love to draw, but I kind of got out of that, and I've tried getting back into drawing a couple of times, but it kind of fizzles out every time afterwards. As for, like, being in communities and stuff that haven't appeared on my channel, I've mentioned it one or twice, but I'll say it here. Like, I'm a literal Boy Scout. I'm a scout leader. Like, give me a second. Literally my uniform. Or at least my uniform shirt. And that was, speaking of which, that's part of the reason why I kind of stopped streaming, because I decided in my infinite wisdom that I would stream on Saturdays because I saw everybody did their streaming on Sundays. So I decided, oh, I'll do the stream on the day that nobody else is streaming. But then, of course, I completely forgot that, oh, hey, you have scout meetings on Saturdays. And, yeah, that kind of made things a bit more complicated for me. So just as kind of continuation of that, if and when I start streaming again, I'm gonna change it from Saturdays just so I'm not as stressed or messed up about it anymore. But yeah, that's like, honestly, I've been a scout leader. I've been in scouts probably since I was like around 5, maybe a little older than that. And yeah, I'm a literal scout leader, and it's, oh god, I honestly, I hope nothing messes it up. But this August, I'm going to be going to our scout camp for the first time since before COVID. And that, I hope nothing goes wrong, because that is definitely going to be fun. I have not been up there in literal years. And it's sort of an extension of that, with franchises that haven't appeared on the channel. Again, as I've said, I'm a big foamer. I love trains and steam trains. They just don't appear on the channel that much. And that is it for my 5,000 subscriber Q&A celebration. Honestly, I thank everybody who actually sent in a question. Again, as I've said, I've done this a couple of other times, like tried to do Q&As, and just nobody's ever submitted a question. So I'm so happy that this one actually finally worked. And again, I'm so happy I was finally able to hit 5,000 subscribers. And from the looks of it, I am so happy that you know, that pattern will seemingly continue. Honestly, honestly, the only thing that sours this a little bit for me is the fact that I wish Social Blade hadn't redone their page and how they do their algorithms, because the original like milestone or something I had gotten for me to hit 5,000 subscribers was from Social Blade, and now they don't even have that, you know, future projections tab anymore, so that kind of sucks. But again, I thank every single one of you that subscribed to my channel and likes my videos, because honestly, I couldn't have gotten here without you. And yeah, we're gonna, I've set my new goal. Let's see if I can't hit 10,000 by the end of the year. I mean, it may not be likely, but you always need goals. But yeah, with all that out of the way, I hope you guys liked, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.